James Joyce's Dubliners is a collection of 15 short stories, all taking place in Dublin, Ireland. James Joyce was a writer who lived from 1882 until 1941. He wrote Dubliners in 1914. James Joyce also wrote other works, including Ulysses, which included several characters from Dubliners as minor characters. He was born into a middle-class family in Dublin, a society which he described in Dubliners and in his other works. He spent most of his adult life abroad, but his writings centered in Dublin. Joyce's experience there influenced his writings about the city. In 1914, Ireland was a place of nationalism, and it was involved in several conflicts, including the question of Irish independence from Britain and the conflict between laborers and the upper class. Social and economic problems were also present. Dublin had widespread poverty, high unemployment, and very poor working conditions for those who were employed. The poverty and working conditions are shown in Dubliners, in short stories such as Araby, which describes a boy who has grown up in Dublin among the poverty. In the story, the narrator, nearly a young man, believes he has fallen in love with his friend Mangan's sister. When the narrator finally speaks to her after some time of his idealizing her, she tells him that she cannot go to the Araby Bazaar, but he offers to go and to buy her something. He finds the Eastern nature of Araby foreign to him. The narrator, as his entire focus in life, starts to focus on Araby and Mangan's sister. The rest of his life, including his school and friends, seems unimportant and immature. He begs his aunt and uncle constantly for money and permission to go to the bazaar. For most of the night he waited for his uncle, who eventually gives him the money to go at 9 o'clock on the night. Although he was so intent on going to the bazaar, he arrives just before closing and experiences a world different from his expectation. Because of the events at Araby, he eventually has an epiphany, a moment of realization which is a central idea to many of the stories in Dubliners. Another short story in Dubliners with similar themes is A Little Cloud, which features characters who are older but are still young men with much of their life ahead of them. One of these men, the protagonist of the short story, is Little Chandler. He is an office worker at the King's Inns. His friend, whom he has not seen in 8 years, is Ignatius Gallagher, who is now working at the London Press. As they prepare to meet for the first time for years, Little Chandler feels he is superior to the people in Dublin, finding the city grimy and illiterate, holding him back from his writing career. As he meets Gallagher at a pub, he listens to him about his wild and adventurous life abroad. Chandler then has an epiphany about his own life, which is confirmed by his interactions with his child and wife at home. The epiphany shows Chandler about himself and about his judgments on Dublin and the society he lives in.